It's right there. It's win the day. That's all we're concerned about today. We were concerned about just having a really, really good Monday, which we did. I think if you do that, you're losing sight of what our whole operation is all about. It's about making sure that you take care of what you can control. What you can control is your preparation, your effort, and your attitude, and don't worry about the other stuff. So, because it really doesn't mean anything, you got to take care of. We get to play one game a week, every week, and we got to make sure we take advantage of it. Because in college football, every single week counts. There's not it's not baseball. It's not another sport where you can afford to have a let up. It's every single week is paramount, and that's what you got to do. So.
Computer's bedtime is apparently 6 o'clock, before 6 o'clock. Do we know that now after this week?
Nah, it don't mean anything. Don't mean anything at all. You look at Kansas State, they've had 2 really good victories. They beat Oklahoma at Oklahoma. They beat West Virginia at West Virginia. Florida's beaten LSU. They've beaten South Carolina. So it doesn't mean anything. It's the second week or whatever it is, and I don't know how many weeks they do this thing, but the only time it counts is the last week of December. So if you're concerned with it now, it goes back to what I just talked about. Then you're not doing it. You don't have the right approach. I've seen too many coaches complain about what's going on in October, and then all of a sudden they lose the next week and you're out of it. So, that's not going to happen here. It's not going to happen with these guys. It's not going to happen with this coaching staff.
The success you guys had running this past weekend, obviously the offensive line plays a huge role in that, but how do you get the receivers who are so good at blocking under your scheme to buy into that part of the game?
It's football, and to be honest with you, I don't understand the question. There's not one position where you can say, hey, I'm not going to compete on this play. And I don't think any other team in the country does that. Hey, it's the run game and you guys play wideout, so don't worry about it, don't block. Then you're playing 7 on 11 or 8 on 11 or 9 on 11. It's that, our team competes in everything they do. If I'm a receiver, I got to block. I got to run good routes. I got to do everything. If I'm an offensive lineman, I got to be great at run blocking. I got to be great at pass protection. It's the same thing. So the concept of that, trying to get receivers to block is a difficult thing. I don't understand it. When you're out in the field and you only get X amount of snaps, you better play full speed no matter what we got called.
First 20 minutes offensively of that game and defensively, other than the fumble and the touchdown, seemed fantastic from an outsider's perspective. When you watch the tape, did you find anything in those 20 minutes that you want your guys to work on?
Oh, there were a lot. There was a couple plays. The one where Marcus pulled it. We missed a block on the front side, and thank goodness he pulled it on the backside because our back was going to get tackled in the backfield. So, whenever you look at the tape, you're never as good as you think you are, nor you're never as bad as you think you are. But there's always things that we can correct, we can do better, and we can, finish. But the one thing we've got is we have some guys that if you give them a crack or give them a crease, then they can turn, an average play into a great play, and they can turn a bad play into a good play. And that's we're fortunate because of the players that we have. But there's always things on both sides of the ball, and in special teams you can always work on.
What impressed you most about when you were down so quick and the guys' composure? Did you see anything on the sideline that?
No, and that doesn't surprise me or impress me. That's what we kind of expect out of our guys. We talk about playing, for the whole game, and there are certain times when you're going to be down or it's going to be close, and you have to just keep worrying about the next play, and that's what we talk about. Just play the next snap, play the next snap, play the next snap, and I think our guys have a pretty good understanding of that. And we've got, even though we're a young team, our older guys, the Michael Clays and the Kikos and the Kenyans and those guys have been great culture keepers for us in terms of making sure how to do it the right way, and I think that's trickled down to our younger guys so they don't know any different, and that's the way it's supposed to be. So.
Any concerns about the fourth quarter as far as mental tests, since you guys haven't really had to test yourselves in the fourth quarter yet?
I'd rather have it that way than the other way. So, take your pick. Let's play a lot of close games. We'll take it. You don't know how games are going to unfold. You have no idea. You just play them as they come and adjust as you go. But you can't script it and say, hey, I hope in this game we get to this situation and this happens to us. You just play the game the way it unfolds, and how it unfolds, you adjust to it accordingly.
Do you compensate for that in practice anyway? Do you create those situations?
Yeah, we always do. Everything we do in practice is situational. We finished with 2 clutch situations today. Needed a field goal. First group went down and kicked it. Second group didn't. And we try to do everything we do from a practice standpoint is situational work, so that those guys we can put them in those situations. So you hope you can get it, but we don't go into games saying, hey, I hope this happens, I hope that happens. Right. So we go into games just saying, how are we going to win the football game? So I'm confident if we get in situations like that, that our group can handle it, but we haven't been in it. So, but again, the alternative is to not be in the situation where not be 7-0 and not be winning games by whatever our margin of victory is right now, and I'll take what we're doing right now over the other thing any day.
Early in the week, anything about Colorado stick out so far from what you guys have seen from them?
Yeah, I think watch them just offensively against a good USC team. They had over 80 snaps. They had the ball in the red zone 6 times. I think they, obviously give credit to USC. They kind of buckled down in the red zone, but they moved the football. I think they had 85 snaps, and USC had 48 up. But USC did a nice job with the 48 they had. But offensively, they moved the ball a little bit, and that's got to be a concern. I think Webb does a nice job at quarterback. They got a really, really good tight end, and Nick Casa, who they moved over from defense, who's a big, tough, physical, and can be a matchup problem for you. And they got some receivers that can, sure-handed kids that can go get the ball. So, there are certain things that they do. You got to make sure you have a good week of preparation so that we're prepared for it on Saturday.